Welcome to the MyChat training module for corrections requiring authorization. This is a new module that we've put together that really aims to take away the need for written authorization between two trading partners for corrections. So as we release this, what we will be doing is really looking at two major correction types to begin with and then rolling that out to include more. So the two major correction types that we'll be including in this section is those that have already been corrected. So once a movement has been corrected, through this module you will be able to ask for it to be corrected again. And the other type is when you're doing a correction to an authorized transfer party. So today you wouldn't be able to do that. Once we roll this module out, you'll be able to go in and actually request that correction for the other party to then approve. So what we'll do, first of all, I'll just go through a couple of elements that we need to make sure are set up correctly to make this module really work well. And then we'll actually go into the module itself. We'll create an actual correction, show you how that works, and then I'll show you the dashboards where you can look at what's outstanding to be approved, and from the other party side you can see what is to be approved by yourself and the actions that you can then take. So first of all, one of the most important things to really make this work is ensure that your contacts are set up correctly. So one of the things to note is there's under the administration menu within MyChat, so if we're looking at the home page here, we go into menu and go into administration. There's a section there called manage locations. So if we go into here, what you'll see is an array of different options here. So the one you want to go to is called contacts. So when you go into contacts, there's a section here called transaction management contacts. Now it's really important that we have the people who are responsible for doing the pallet management, particularly this correction module, set up in here. So once you add them here, we just go in and add new transaction management contact. You put the information in these boxes. Once that's actually saved, they will be recorded in MyChat as a contact for your account, and that is a contact that will also come up when you look at trading partner contact details, either through the review modify screen or through the manage other parties screen. So it's important that that's there. But for this new module, the other reason why it's really important is that any time a correction request is made, an email will be sent to this email address in this list, alerting them to the fact that there is something that they need to action. Subsequently, once a correction is corrected, accepted, should I say, or rejected, then the email will also be sent to this contact. So it's really important that this information is filled out, and as we move forward into further iterations of MyChat, there is more functions that will actually make use of this. So first call out, just make sure you get your contact details correct in there. So what we'll actually do now, we'll go into the normal review modify screen as if you were going to make a normal correction. So if I go into the review modify screen, and if I have a look down, if I just do a search for movements that I've done today, what you'll see, there's some lines here in purple. So these are some correction requests that I've made earlier, just so that we have some information to look at. But what we want to do is have a look at this last line here. So at the moment, this is a normal T1 docket, but what it is it's going to a party who requests, who has the authorized transfer module turned on. So they're a receiver declares account, another way that we call them. So what you need to do today to do a correction to this other party, you would need to get written authority and submit that through to CHEP for us to do the correction. So what this ability does is allows you, as you'll see it's blue here now, so it's available for correction. So what we'll do, we'll actually make a correction here to this now. So let's go in and change the quantity, for example. If I change the quantity, I change it to 330 instead of 33, and I'm going to submit that. Once I submit that, what it's going to do is it recognizes that it is not a normal correction and it is going to require authorization. So what this now does is pops up this extra slide in which asks you for some comments. So I'll just put here changed quantity to 330, and it asks you to upload a POD. Now this is not a mandatory field, but I would highly recommend, if it makes sense in this situation, to upload a POD. So I'm just going to upload something that I prepared earlier and submit that. What you'll see now is this will go purple like those other ones before, and you'll see it's in a pending status. So what that's actually saying is you've requested a correction. It hasn't yet been approved by other party, so it's sitting in a pending status. So what we'll do now is go in and have a look at where we find those bits of information. So back under the Manage Transactions, you can get to it straight through this, what we call a breadcrumb here, or you can go to it through the menu, whichever is your preference. You'll see a new tile will appear here called Corrections Requiring Authorization. So what you can do, what I'll do here is I'll go in first as this account, and you'll see here it's awaiting my action. So these are ones that other parties have requested for me, but what I'll do is just have a look at that one we just did. So we requested it of the other party, so it's going to be in the awaiting other party action. So you'll see here, this is the one that we just did, and it's sitting there. You'll see it's got a quantity of 330, which is what we adjusted. If I go in and look at the details, so if I open up the details here, what you'll see, if I scroll down, it shows you what the previous quantity here was. So it's got the previous quantity of 33, and it's got the new quantity. So it is going to show you what's changed on the request. You'll see here the view comments, so you can see the comments I put there before. It tells me who created those comments, and it gives them to me. And what I can see here is view or upload another POD, so I can see that POD that I uploaded there. So this is from my view on what I'm seeing. If I go across now to the other party, so this is the other party that I actually requested that correction of, and I change this to awaiting my action. So this is now assuming the other party's logged in, they've got the alert in the system, and they can go in and see this. If I look in the details, again, it's going to show me almost exactly what you saw in the other screen. So it shows me what's changed from 33 to 330. I can see the comments there, and I can see the POD. This time you'll notice that the POD is in other party POD because it's done by the other party. So you can download that and view that. So once you've actually gone into that, you'll notice that there's two options for you, three really if you include print, but there's two actionable options for you once you're actually looking at the correction. You can either reject that request. So if you put reject, it will ask you for a comment, so you need to put that comment in, because that comment will then go back to the other party telling them why you rejected the movement. The other option you have is to approve it. So once I click approve, again I just put some comments if makes sense. It is a mandatory field, so if there are extra things you need to put in, you can do that, but you will need to put something in there. And once you've put that in, you just click submit. I say, yes, I would like to do that. And once that's done, it's going to disappear off this dashboard. And if we were to go back then into the review modify screen of the other party, so let's do that. So we'll go back to manage transactions. We'll go to review modify. Let's go back to, actually we can do it of either party. So if we go back to the original party, and again just run this search, what you'll see down the bottom, you'll see the original movement that you had, and then you'll see it's now been corrected. So if we have a look across, you'll see that 330 is now there, and it is a movement, it's a valid movement, and everything has been done. So that piece that we're rolling out, as again, just to reiterate, is covering two things. It's covering where a movement has already been corrected, or where you're correcting a movement to an authorised transfer or receiver declares party. So these ones above here are ones I prepared a little earlier, which are ones that have already been corrected. So you'll see here, this one is a T3, and it's also pending. So if I go in and have a look, let's go in, manage transactions, corrections requiring authorization. If we have a look actually under the other party here, actually, sorry, I was on the right one. You'll see these movements here, and again, it just gives you some visibility on what is actually being changed. So if I open up, for example, this one, I can see that the material has changed. So it was previously material 1, it's now material 4001. This one up here, you can see the reference has changed, and you can also see that the quantity has changed. So that information is all there, and you can then decide whether you're going to reject or approve it. So this module will be available to everybody. So this is about to be rolled out. Once done, you will be able to do these corrections, and no need to require the written authority then from CHEP. Now, just to be aware, when you do put this correction request in, it will you'll see here that the days left says 0. Now, this is just a configuration piece on our end, but going forward, it will be 15 days. So after 15 days, what will happen is that request will auto-reject, because after 2 weeks, we've assumed that the other party is probably not going to action it. Now, once that rejects, you can then just request it again if you like, but what we wanted to do was make sure these didn't just stay as open-ended. So you just please be aware that after that period of time, they will actually auto-reject. The other thing on this screen is you get a summary or a detailed view. So if I was to look at summary, it just gives me the summary of the other party, the number of transactions for that other party, and the total pieces of equipment outstanding. So that may be a good view for you if you're just looking at a high-level management point of view. So the third big type of correction that we are going to bring in this, but not just yet, is correcting a movement that is out of date, that is too old. One of the reasons that we're not bringing that in right now is we have to add some further functionality where we warn the other party before they accept it, because they may be accepting backdated charges. So we just want to add some extra functionality around that. But for now, again, those two types, the already corrected movement or correcting to an authorised transfer or receiver declares party, those are available now. So I hope that was helpful, and please, if you have any further questions, don't hesitate to reach out to customer service.